Hello and welcome. We are live. I am Adam. This is Highly Articulated. And today I will be talking a little bit about a Kickstarter. I will be talking a little bit about some G.I. Joes. I will be talking about some alien life forms. And then a very, very brief, sort of mention. I don't know if I'll give any hints or anything, but Animal Warriors of the Kingdom will be doing a reveal at Jolanta. I know what it is, and you don't. So we'll see if we get around to that. But yeah, it's Sunday. It's a beautiful sunny day here. I watched the Seahawks win in overtime, so I'm in a good mood. If good to have you guys hanging out. Just very, very quickly, gonna check in with the chat here. Star is here, JMax77, Ray Paz, and that's everybody that's commented so far. So it's quick and easy for me to go through that list, which is great. That's fantastic. I always forget to do that, and then it makes me look like an idiot. But anyways, let's get right into it. So this week, the Kickstarter for Monstores started. And if you're not familiar with Monstores, let me pull up the Kickstarter here. Monstores is a 5.5-inch action figure line done by David Igo and a whole team of very creative people. Really buff brawlers, beastly kind of crossover animals. Really, really cool, really, really fun project on Kickstarter right now. So series 1 is essentially 2 figures. We're looking at Sting Cobra and the Shamumu. Sting Cobra is, of course, a mix between a scorpion and a cobra, and Shamumu is a cross between a killer whale and a cow. So just super, super fun. This is a Kickstarter that I backed. I am very, very excited about this line, these products. It's not. I will, full disclosure, this is not 100% a line that I am going to be all in on. It is somewhat limited articulation. It is not quite the scale that I typically buy, but they are really, really fun figures nonetheless. Really, really cool concepts. I really like the way they're executed. This is, a whole in the same way that Animal Warriors of the Kingdom is kind of a nice mashup of a whole bunch of different, influences that I loved. Monstores is also sort of quite a really cool mashup. There's elements of like Ninja Turtles and Street Sharks, and you've got that big oversized kind of buff brawler body type, which makes me sort of think of He-Man as well. And I think, they would by and large fit in with any one of those lines at 5.5 inches. I mean, there's a picture right on the Kickstarter next to Street Sharks, next to Ninja Turtles, next to some other stuff. So very, very cool. They launched on Tuesday, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Currently sitting at 52,400, so they're more than a third of the way there. As far as what they've got for rewards, you can get the main guys. So of course Shamumu is the one here. adjust this ever so slightly so these pictures get bigger. So there's Shamumu and Sting Cobra. There they are scaled next to your Masters of the Universe, next to the Ninja Turtles, Street Sharks. I don't know what that dino guy is. I think that might be a Street Shark as well, of some sort. But as I said, just really, really cool sculpts, really fun figures. There's the sort of breakdown of the articulation. Not a ton of articulation, so that's this suits a little bit. This has a little bit more of a vintage figure feel in that respect. Very much prioritizing sculpt, I would say, and the sculpts look fantastic. They really, really they're like absurd mashups of animals. The cobra and the scorpion kind of make sense, but like a whale and a cow is just, it's pretty out of left field. But yeah, there you go. There's the big Shamumu. And then as far as other items available to back and stuff like that, there's alternate figures based on those two figures. So there's the bull tooth, which is a shark more than a whale. You get the Venom Nom, which has an alternate head to the other one, and then they're different colorways. They do color swap variants, so you get Shamumu in the Sting Cobra colorway, and vice versa, Sting Cobra in the Shamumu colorway. Then, cleverly, they've got glow-in-the-dark figures for both, and then they've got translucent for both. So they're kind of checking all the boxes there. And then sticker packs. You can get a digital art book, Keshi variants, so like Muscles looking little 2-pack, a weapons pack, which is pretty cool. I didn't quite realize this first looking at it, but the weapons pack is all unique weapons. So they're all three of the weapons will be unique. They won't be sort of reused from the other figures. And then of course they've got your all-in packages to sort of different degrees of all-in. Kickstarter all-in, and then all the exclusive all-in, and then so on and so forth. Very, very cool. As I said, a really, really fun project, and one that I really hope will succeed. And I'm pretty confident. Like this point, they're at a third with 24 days to go. So it's progressing pretty nicely. I think the pace is pretty good. They did a nice short Kickstarter window, which is kind of fun too, because then there's not 6 weeks of lag in the middle, or it feels like 6 months. So yeah, if you haven't already, go check out Monstores. It's a cool. It's different. It's pretty unique. So Star says, not really the first combinations one would probably think of. No, not at all is what I would say. Game Quest is here. Red 5 has joined us. Ray Black is here. Alice and Troy as well. Good to have everybody aboard. I Lost My Cactus says, or asks, do you know if the Gladiator AWOC wave has hit port yet? Yes, I do know whether it has hit port yet or not. Moving on. No, I'm just kidding. It has hit port. It is it's being held up for some reason. Nobody's quite sure. That's just shipping kind of, it just has to clear customs, and then the container can get shipped to the warehouse, and then we'll start shipping everything out. So it shouldn't be too long now. But there's still variables that are outside of Spiro Toys control. So we'll let people know once we start shipping. Justin Mohan says hello. Justin asks, are you going to have David Igo on the show? That's a very good question, and at the moment I do not know the answer. I would love to have him on. He is he brings so much energy, and like just a fascinating guy, very, very intense. I would love to have him on to talk about this, because I don't think I'm selling it as well as he would. But Star says these aren't bad, sweet looking detail. Yeah, the detail's crazy. I mean, these guys are really known for their sculpting, and stuff that they've done in the past. And so their strength is really in the sculpting. I would have personally liked a little bit more articulation. Not that I need a ton, but I mean, I would have maybe liked, knee and elbow articulation personally, and also bigger scale, and also on, you know what I mean? Like as I said, they're not quite for me. I'm right now. I'm just looking at a Shamumu, and then it's sort of like, do I get that or do I get a translucent Shamumu? What am I? I don't know. I haven't fully decided what my final backing will be for mod stores. But I really like them. It'll probably personally for me probably be a line that I have like a one off of, just to have one in the collection because it's a really cool project. But let's see. John from the Collecting Brothers is here. Good to have you, John. All right. Moving on from mod stores. There's been a ton of stuff. There's been a ton of news. Last week, of course, we had a monkey business, so we didn't get too much into news related to other toys. But there is sort of something I want to talk about that was from last week. But in more recent days, as of what was it, Thursday morning, of course, we had the Hasbro PulseCon, and there we go. Share this tab instead. We got some GI Joe releases. We've got some reveals too. I forgot to pull the reveals. I just realized that, so I'll have to look those up on the fly here. But where am I going to find them? I think I know where I can find them. I'll just get that prepped so that I was going to say, so I don't look like an idiot. I do look like an idiot, but that's okay. I'm okay with that. So as far as product pre-orders that we got, I'm just going to talk about G.I. Joes because I know nothing about Transformers. The Star Wars stuff, Prince Zizor may end up leading me down a dark path. If they do more Shadows of the Empire, Black Series figures, I don't know. I absolutely loved the Power of the Force Shadows of the Empire figures. I remember there being a comic book. I think I had it, but I don't even remember what the story was or anything like that. But G.I. Joe, these G.I. Joes look fantastic. So of course we got Leatherhead, Leatherneck, and Dial Tone. Leatherneck was a vintage figure that I never really particularly loved. He was a character that I just found off-putting and was never a big fan of. This figure looks fantastic, and I pre-ordered it right away. Dial Tone looks about as good as I think he could. I really, really like this Dial Tone figure. I am looking forward to getting it. I love that we have, the communications, backpack that's so vintage inspired. It looks so much like the vintage figure, but it doesn't look out of place now that it's sort of like modernized and stuff like that. They put the laptop in there and they kind of update the tech a little bit. I just think it looks really, really good. I think they executed it really, really well. The fact that the weapon has like a iPhone holder on it is just odd, but really, really cool. I like what they've done with Leatherneck as well. It's kind of modern. It's a little sort of near future sci-fi. So I love when they include those elements and they don't go sort of full on realistic. So I'm very, very happy with what they did with both of these. Star says those look really good. I prefer the ones who look more military rather than some strange outfit with guns. I like all of them. I mean, I like all the different stuff that's going on in G.I. Joe. I like the military stuff, but I actually probably gravitate more towards the sort of near future sci-fi aspects of what G.I. Joe has done and sort of does. For that reason, for me, these two were probably more exciting. Getting Xandar and the Saw Viper. I like both of these because they're both kind of absurd, right? Anytime you get more dreadnoks is a good thing. This effectively completes like the OG dreadnought, team from the cartoon, more or less. I mean, there's still a couple more. We could still get Monkey Wrench. We could still get Thrasher, presumably with the Thunder Machine. But we're on a good path with the dreadnoks to basically get all of them. So I'm not worried about that in any way. But Xandar looks fantastic. I think the detailing it again, they've updated him enough without really changing the character and sort of the color palette and things like that. So I'm very, very excited to get him. The Saw Viper, it looks phenomenal. The Saw Viper was actually sculpted almost entirely by Dan, who does a lot of work for Animal Warriors of the Kingdom as well. I know that he is personally really, really excited about this Saw Viper, and I'm very, very happy for him that it sort of turned out as well as it did. I love that that the helmet comes off, but he's still kind of like a masked head underneath. The accessories, the loadout look really, really good. The sort of like belt, the sort of this, it's not even like a bullet belt. It's like just this big chunky. Everything about him is chunky, and I like that. Chunky armor, chunky helmet, chunky legs, chunky gun, chunky chunk. Just a big old chunky guy. I had to get two. Also, in the comic books, in the Marvel comic books, the Saw Viper took out a ton of Joes. So I think it's about time that we got this. And I think it's a really, really good representation of the Saw Viper. So um, Scott Baker's joined us. What's going on, Scott? Good to have you. Star says a Gort homage. I don't know what Gort is. Game Quest says, enjoy the classified reveals, though came to the realization I probably won't be getting them all moving forward. Saw Viper is a must. I'm kind of at the point with the classified where my list of characters that I want is very, very short. That being said, 3 out of 4 of these were on there, and Leatherneck kind of looks too good to pass up, so I got Leatherneck as well. Star says thought he might be part of a bomb squad given his armor. Not a bomb squad. He just mows down Joes. That's what the Saw Vipers do. And it's like it's 2 or 3 issues. There's sort of like just a little story with the Saw Vipers in the comic book, and it's heavy. It is heavy. I won't spoil it for anybody that hasn't read it, but the Saw Viper takes out some pretty major Joes. So Game Quests have to be a bit more selective, discerning as these figures battle for shelf space. Of course, y'all have the same problem. Yes, exactly. That's where that's why I'm glad that my list of G.I. Joe classified figures that I need is pretty short. So Justin asked, are you reading the Image Comics G.I. Joe stuff? I am I have purchased, I've yet to read any of it because I've been far too busy. I have been buying the Larry Hama sort of extended Real American Hero ones. I haven't gone into the Energon Universe ones. I don't know if people are even calling them that or if that's just what I'm calling them. I've heard really good things about that run. I didn't buy the one shot, so I didn't buy the Cobra Commander. I didn't buy the Duke. I didn't get into the Scarlet. So I haven't been in on those just because I haven't had time. I'm so far behind on my comics that getting the Larry Hama continuation made sense. Getting those new ones made less sense. There's a very good chance I'll probably pick up those G.I. Joes in trade. I think that's the way I'll probably do that one. I'll get the trade paperbacks and then I can read them on an airplane when I'm on my way to conventions or something. So, Larry Reed is here. Good to have you, Larry. Star says takes them out as in permadeath. Uh, yeah, yes, that's yes. Short answer. That's what it. Yes. Justin Mohan, Energon Universe is good. The Cobra Commander was good. Yeah, that's what I've heard. I've heard that it's very, very good. I just well and truly have not had the time. So that IDW wrapped up Real American Hero at issue 300, and then Image picked up at 301. I'm on like 292. I'll continue to buy them, but I'm so far behind, and that's just with X-Men. Or sorry, that's just with GI Joe. I'm even further behind with my X-Men stuff. So I'm slowly. Anytime they reset comic books, I'm finding myself just not following. So a lot of the X-Men books wrapped up, and then they sort of restarted a bunch of them, and I haven't. I'm not all in on X-Men anymore. I just don't have time. Maybe one day when toy business is paying me, my full time, and I don't have to work a full time job as well as all the toy stuff, I might find a time. But like I said, for me, it's like I find the time to catch up on reading and like TV and movies when I'm on planes to and from conventions, and that's about it. But yeah, I'll definitely take it into consideration and seriously consider reading it when I have a chance. The other reveal that we got, the other release that we got, was of course the Pulse exclusive Starduster. This guy looks phenomenal. This is basically the retro carded Duke, and that's a fantastic figure. So this is kind of a no brainer. Starduster's really, really fun. I like that they give him the helmet as well. I don't know. I don't remember hearing whether it's a helmet or whether it's an alternate head. Either way, very, very excited about this. I like the accessories that he comes with. I like that he comes with the little cereal box. I just pulled this one image, so I don't have the cereal box one, but I like the way they presented it, as though he's sort of like a cereal hero, like a pop hero rather than an actual GI Joe. I didn't watch PulseCon, and I haven't had a time to catch up on it, so I've just sort of looked at the reveals, but it looks really, really cool, the way they presented it. And I like that I like that they sort of made it fun. I like that they made it, the Starduster, who was a mail away figure, it feels like kind of a mail away figure. I like that they made it an exclusive. I've talked about exclusives before. I like them. I have no problem with them. I think he's still available too, so it's not really like it was hard to get or anything like that. How does he guide that rocket pack in flight? Strong will. He has a strong enough will that he can guide the flight pack. I don't know. Solo Sinner, not sure if we're missing much with X-Men in comics currently. Yeah, I'm still. I'll say this and then I'll sort of move on from the comic books. I'm still buying Uncanny X-Men and the X-Men. And then there's like one other title. I can't even remember what ones I'm buying anymore because I'm so far behind. Like I said, I think I'm like a full year behind. And it sucks because I'm kind of buying like X-Men and Uncanny X-Men without any idea what is going on with them, because I don't want to read reviews or like hear updates on it because I'm so far behind. I want to read it for myself and not miss out, but it's a whole other thing. Solo says, I just like the way this guy looks. Didn't know much about Stardust or background. I pre-ordered him the other day. Yeah, he looks good, right? Like I think it's just a really cool looking action figure. There was rumors that he was going to come. So he comes with the jump jet pack. There was rumors that he was going to come with like the full kind of base, that the vintage jump pad, or I can't remember what it was called, but there was like a landing pad for these. I just hope they do something like that. I hope they do it bigger though. I hope that they do it so that you can land like a Skyhawk or even your Dragonfly on it, because that would be something I would buy in a heartbeat. It could be such a simple playset. people are, asking for play sets for GI Joe left and right, and I think that would be an easy one for them to do. It'd be really, really easy to pack because you could do it in a couple pieces and snap it together, and it would be like IKEA. You could like flat pack it and ship it pretty inexpensively. But yeah, I would love to see. Um, I would love to see the landing pad. Um, that was it for things that went up for pre-order, but we also had um, a couple of reveals. So we had digital render reveals for Law and Order, as well as a reveal for uh, Heavy Duty. Is that his name? That sounds wrong. It's Heavy Duty, right? Am I getting that wrong? While you guys correct me in the chat, I'll go back. Law and Order. I love the one. I love any character that comes with an animal companion. Law and Order was always one of my favorites. Love the colorway. This was. I think the story goes it was something like they felt like there was too many like drab green and black and gray GI Joe. So this one actually stands out. And if you look up the vintage figure, it's like vibrant red, vibrant blue, vibrant green, like really really bright colors. So he kind of stands out. I'm hoping that they've muted them a little bit in the renders, but he'll be like really nice and bright on the shelf. Because this is one that I absolutely love. Anytime there's an animal companion, for me, it's typically a twofer. I usually get a couple so that I can have a couple of the couple of the animals. To be perfectly honest, I need Law and Order, but then I need a German Shepherd to sort of go with other lines too. So if this guy's anything like if this is anything like the other animal companions that we've gotten so far, it's gonna be one. It's gonna be one of the best articulated animals that you can get. I mean, they're fantastic. Starting with Timber, and everything that they've done since have just been so good. And I think the figure plus animal companion for the price, like they're pretty hard to beat. JMax77, GI Joe set the bar for the best figures that come with animals. Wish more lines did this. They really do. They really do set the bar. And what's ironic is that they did a Dungeons and Dragons. Of course, they famously did Dritz with Guinevere. Guinevere is cool, but not anywhere near as good as anything that they've done in GI Joe. I'm trying to think of other lines that have done like animal companions. To be honest, I can't really think of any. The Build-A-Figure for Zabu, is that his name? Zabu, the saber-tooth tiger from Marvel Legends. Decent figure, but it was a Build-A-Figure. Like, it wasn't a companion. Hopefully they release him as like a standalone figure, or maybe like a 2-pack with somebody else from the Savage Lands or something like that. Because I wasn't paying the Build-A-Figure wave price to get that figure. Solo Center says insta buy for Law and Order, looks great, and the doggo, absolutely agree 100%. GameQuest says, speaking of Joe, Steel Core Commander versus Twilight Guard 2-pack just arrived. Completely forgot this was a thing. I passed on that one. I didn't need that one at all. So I heard that it came. I will say that the Steel Core Commander I would have bought if it was single pack, but that 2-pack doesn't do anything for me. So I like that 2-pack. I just don't need everything. Can't have everything. Star says, this looks like an awesome character. MPs are supposed to be killer enough to take down the mainline characters. That's a bad man. Oh, yeah, he is. I mean, MPs, you're absolutely right, are the guys that take down the military guys, right? So, and Law and Order, no different. I think this looks really, really good. I'm also really excited because in getting two, I'm gonna get an upper torso that's just like t-shirted. It doesn't appear that he has any collar under there. It just looks like it's a t-shirt tucked into some fatigues. So there's a lot of fodder potential in the figure here for me personally too. But that doggo looks like such a good boy. I can't wait to get that. Um, yeah, how could you not buy a toy dog with sunglasses? So if anybody was sort of not aware of what he's talking about, he's got goggles. This isn't like a mask. These are goggles to put on your dog so that your dog can see in whatever condition he might need that for. The irony is that Law does not come with goggles. So, if Order can see, Law might not be able to. I don't know. It seems like a weird seems like a weird situation, but that's all good. This will be an instant buy for me. Heavy Duty also looks phenomenal. I think it looks so good. Where'd it go? Collecting Brothers, thank you for fact checking for me. You are right, Heavy Duty. I think this figure looks really good. This is definitely one of those figures that was on my sort of long list of figures that I had as a kid that were kind of wild and weird, but I think I want anyway. This is like I really love what they've done here. So the vintage figure to me always felt like a very timely figure. It felt like a late 80s figure. This has a really cool look to it. Um, we've got that same belt that I think we saw with the Saw Viper. The camo on his pants looks awesome. It's that near future sci-fi print. Like, what is that print? I've never seen that before, but I love it. I love that the rockets appear to be like a neon green. This whole contraption, this aliens looking thing that I feel like, some space marines would be carrying to defeat some alien race in the dark, looks awesome. The fact that most of it looks modular. Now, I don't know if that's going to be the case, but to me, it looks like these rocket launchers come off. It looks like these machine guns might come off, and it looks like these machine guns might come off. And I'm kind of hoping that they do. I'm kind of hoping that there's a way to kind of like part this thing out and like build different big chunky guns, because that would be so cool to me, and it would warrant a deluxe price, like a scrap iron type price or something like that, if they could build all of that sort of modularity and functionality into it. I would be all over it. Now, speaking of deluxe figures, I really hope that these rockets work better than Metalheads did. I really hope that the rockets fit in there and will sort of stay in there. I really hope that the blast effects, when they plug in, kind of stay where they're supposed to. That was my complaint about Metalhead, is that the rockets only work with the blast effects on them. So hopefully they're able to correct that. But yeah, just altogether a really good looking figure. John, I agree completely. Love the backwards cap. The fact that this character's from Chicago and he's got like a bull on a necklace there is a very nice touch as well. It just screams 90s too, right? Like the color palette, the design, down to the hairstyle. I don't know if I don't know if people noticed, but like he's got like the lines shaved into his head. And I remember that like that was it in the 90s. If you were doing something like that, you were pretty cool. So Very, very cool. You know, he's got the eyepiece, he's got the headset or you know, whatever. I don't know. I look forward to hearing more about this. I'm really, really excited to see the physical reveal of this. This digital render looks phenomenal, and with classified figures, if anything has been true about the line, the digital renders never look as good as the physical reveals. And so I have very, very high expectations for this figure for sure. So um Josh is saying Fresh Prince vibes. Yeah, totally, totally. Um Chicago, not West Philadelphia, but you know, same concept for sure. Like yeah, yes. I if you just mean sort of the general vibes, then yes. But Star says the latest figures all look so intimidating. They're GI Joes and Cobras. They're supposed to. That should be the look, right? Or at least in my mind. All right. Shall we move on from GI Joe? Yes, we shall. We will move on to the Target Geek Out. Is that what it's called? What's it? The Target Nerd Fest, or what is it? Is it called the Geek Out? I don't know. I'm in Canada. I don't know. I can't get any of this stuff anyway. I got to try to order it through other people. But this Alf, I loved it that I left this comment up and then brought up Alf. This does not look intimidating at all. This NECA, I think they're calling it like Super 80s Deluxe or something like that. I have been tempted by NECA's Alf for you know, since they did the first release. I think it was about a year ago, maybe even 2 years ago now, almost. Then that San Diego Comic-Con one from 2023 looked really, really good. The San Diego Comic-Con 2024 was okay. This one, this is the one where I'm probably gonna have to pull the trigger. The fact that he gets a video game set, he gets a Rubik's Cube, he gets him on TV, the skateboard, the pizza, the soda, the cell phone, the soft goods. I'm most excited about getting this Alf T-shirt to put on other characters. Because Alf with an Alf T-shirt is kind of a funny like meta thing, but I want an Alf T-shirt to put on another character, and I don't even know which character I want to put it on yet. I haven't decided because I only saw this figure like this morning, so I haven't decided where I want to put it. But the loadout, the pack out for this looks phenomenal. I think this gets released next Friday, if I read that correctly. So I'm gonna have to try to figure out how to sort of secure one of these. I know that Target pre-orders are like notoriously problematic and they get canceled and they never deliver and on and on and on. But I am very, very excited for this Alf. So John says Dorklair always makes me want to get an Alf figure. I just this is one of those like problem figures for me. Alf is one of those problem figures for me because I only need one. And I won't fill up a shelf. There's no other characters that I need or want. Do I really need Alf? Probably not. I use need very loosely. Obviously, I've you know talked about that extensively. That I don't need any action figures. But I just feel like I want an Alf in my collection in a 6-inch scale. Star says no cats. Yeah, I mean that's the only miss here. But I mean cats are 1/12 scale cats. That's not a hard thing to find. I thought Melmacians loved the flavor of cats and was a bit upset. Yes, absolutely they are. So the other versions of Alf, one comes with a cat in a hoagie bun. Absolutely, cat. Alf would love nothing more than to eat the household cat. Does Alf take place in Ohio? Hmm. I wonder. I think most people just need one Alf. Yeah, I think so. But I'm sure there's people that have multiple Alps. Alps? Alps? I don't know. I will. I think the SDCC 2023 exclusive came with that Hawaiian shirt on it, and I did want that version to get that Hawaiian shirt. I would have taken it off him and put it on somebody else, but I've been pointed in the direction of some 112 scale Hawaiian shirts. I need to get more. I want more soft goods to just sort of go on figures just for fun. Um, it's like the one thing that's kind of lacking in my collection. So that's my goal is to get things like Alf shirts and Hawaiian shirts and like shorts and but also like capes and cowls and things like that. But anyway, um, John says Google says Alf takes place in San Fernando Valley area of California. Yeah, I think that makes sense. So it wasn't him eating cats. Okay, good to know. GameQuest says I do want an Alf figure. That's the like it's he's so lovable. Like look at him. How could you not want an Alf figure? Even if you don't know what Alf is, I feel like Alf's just one of those lovable characters that you can't deny the cuteness. Um anyways. Uh Heyo. Um Part of the reason that I was looking up the Target Geek Fest thing was that I didn't get the chance to talk about how excited I am for this guy. Now, say what you will about Super 7, and I know everybody has. I really, really like my Super 7 Ultimates. I will not deny that I wish they were, less expensive. Enter Lion-O. At 35 bucks, this to me is a no-brainer. I didn't back the LED glowing eyes Lion-O because he didn't have normal eyes. And I didn't want that. I didn't like that. I thought they should have done one. They should have done one more head. You could still have the LED. I think. I don't know. I would think you could still have the LED eyes and just paint, an eye, like the pupil and stuff. Paint an eye over top of it because that's what the vintage figure had. Why couldn't you do that head too? So I was a little bit disappointed and I didn't back it. I just decided it was too much for something that I didn't 100% love. It was like I 90% love that LED glowing eyes one. New sculpt, new head sculpt, pinless, new a little bit different articulation, on and on and on. I was like, I really, really want this Lion-O. Didn't pre-order it through Super 7. Still kind of would like to get it, but I don't need it. So this will be my Lion-O. I have the Super 7 Ultimates Lion-O, but I really, really want this one. And I really, really want this one because this one feels a little bit better than the first wave Lino that we got so many years back now, it feels like. I still love that Lino, but now that they're doing more and more of the Thundercats without pins, he kind of stands out a little bit. I'm really hoping that they redo, some of the other figures that had issues. I really hope they do, Panthro with no pins, Tigra with better articulation, maybe little better sculpting and a couple details. Chitara could be improved upon as well, I think. So, what I'm saying is I'm hoping that this Lion-O is a sign that they're sort of resetting and potentially redoing some of these Thundercats because they are the line is great. I love these characters. I love these designs, and just these little tweaks I think are really going to sort of put these over the edge, so to speak. Um, I really like that this is the, kind of a second chance for people at potentially some of these characters. So I really do hope that they do some of the characters. Um, Tigra is pretty hard to get. It's pretty expensive now on the aftermarket. So if they redid Tigra, even if they did it exactly the same, but did it for 35 bucks in this really, really good packaging, I love that it's I love that it comes, on in like an old school kind of package, with a nice card back. That just feels fun. I'm not going to keep this packaging. I'm going to rip it open like I'm, 7 years old, and just enjoy these figures. So, um, yeah, I'm really, really excited about this. I just hope that I can get them. I hope that they're available somewhere other than Target, or that they're readily available at Target to the point where once these are released, I can actually go to Target and buy one for myself. I think they're scheduled to release in October. I'm going to Legion's Con in November. That'll probably be my next chance to hit up a Target. So I'm hoping that I'm able to grab one while I'm at Legion's Con, but we'll see. Um, JMax77 says it's a second chance for collectors and actually a second chance for Super 7 to make corrections on previous mistakes. I think that's it. Like, I think you've kind of nailed it. I think that, the big criticism of some of these Thundercat figures is that they were reusing existing bucks and that they're not quite as good as they could have been and maybe should have been, and what have you. I really hope that they make it so that the accessory, like, so that the Lion-O accessories that I have are compatible with this guy. So these deluxe versions are coming sort of stripped down from the Ultimates versions. Of course, Lion-O just comes with the Sword of Omens and the shield, which is great. That's kind of all you need with Lion-O, to be perfectly honest. That's all my Lion-O. My Lion-O always has the shield on his arm, and just carries the sword all the time. So I'm okay with the loadout for this guy. However, I really do hope that they make it so that the Sword of Omens tucked into the shield that can sort of clip onto the peg on the belt will be compatible with this. I really hope that I can use, the other versions of the sword, the other versions of the shield, so on and so forth. And I hope that going forward, if they do that with other characters that I don't have, that would kind of be the case too, or do have, so that I can sort of use those accessories. Um, One of the things that makes me most excited about Thundercats at this price point is that I currently let my kids play with the more expensive ones, but it would be nice if I didn't have to spend as much to get the characters, because they don't need all the hands and all the accessories and all that kind of stuff. So to me, this is very much a way that feels more accessible to Thundercats. And I don't know, 35 bucks is still 35 bucks. It's not a cheap figure by any stretch. This is not a $10 Marvel X-Men 97 figure or something like that. But I think it's a step in the right direction, and I think it's a really cool idea. They've got the Ultimates, now they're going to have the Deluxe. I would love to see, a $25 basic, which is like, once this Lion-O crushes and, the LED light Lion-O is out, give people like an even more basic version. Or if you do like the mutants, right? They did those reptiles. They did the sort of the army builder reptiles. Do army builder jackals. Do army builder monkeys. Do another alternate color of Vulture Man, and do them with like literally zero accessories. Give them like one accessory or something, and just get more of that stuff out there, because I think at 55, it's just cost prohibitive for people to get, to army build. But you know, if you want more mutants or something like that, I think you just have to have that price point. But as I said, very, very excited about this. I think this is a smart move on the part of Super 7. Not only to get, more of their product into a mass market, but to sort of find that middle ground, right? That middle ground between, the more premium, more expensive offering with the Ultimates, with all the extra hands, and on and on and on. And their reaction line. And the reaction line isn't for me. I don't really, but I sort of get why it exists, and I think for me the reaction, the sort of the closest thing to the reaction line for me is like Funko Pops, where it's like a line that you would collect if you're collecting characters, but not but it's not really being collected by like action figure collectors in a weird way, if that makes sense. But that's just my opinion. And that's purely just my own thought. That's not based on any sort of information that I have. It's just I look at reactions as like a subpar to just about any other line, but they just keep pumping them out. So somebody must be buying them. So when I try to think of, okay, who's buying reaction figures? To me, it's got to be people that are just buying the characters and they're not necessarily buying, to play with and pose them and so on and so forth. So, um, Star says, can't help but wish they'd change his hair. Looks like the wind is perpetually blowing in one direction. Yeah, but that's what Lionel looks like. Like, that's what Lionel's hair looks like. That's what the vintage figure looks like. That's basically what he looked like in the cartoon. It's a weird look, but it's more accurate to me. This head sculpt is more accurate to me than the previous one, which was right next to me before I did the video. Now I don't know where I put it. So this one actually feels more like Lionel, which is sort of a weird thing, but Star says, I feel spoiled ever since I saw the Lionel snout for Lionel. That's all I want now for all of them. It's a different look. It's an entirely different look. I don't know how I feel about that look myself, but the Lionel Mondo Lionel still blows me away with that lion muzzle. That's a tough one for me. That Lionel feels a little too far removed from the cartoon and like the original figure, which is where it sort of loses me a little bit. Also, I don't buy Mondo, so it doesn't really matter if I liked it or not. So, Star says, wish we could see other cat characters from their home world. I'm sure there was an entire population of them. Any more lion characters? Well, in the cartoon, they've shown quite a few inhabitants of Thundera. And the weird thing is, you get Lion-O and the Thundercats, and they have very distinct cat-like features in one sense. Lion-O is clearly a lion, and Panthro is clearly meant to be like a Black Panther. Cheetara is a cheetah. Lynxo is a lynx. Palmyra is a puma. Keep going with the names, right? But a lot of the other people, if you will, the other cats from Thundera kind of just look like people. It's actually kind of weird. Anyway, they still have characters that I want them to do in the Ultimates line. I want them to do the walrus guy. There was an episode that had like a frog guy that I want them to do. And I would still happily buy those as Ultimates. I really like these deluxe figures as like the second version, or like fix the mistakes, update, whatever. Because I think it's just cool to sort of get a second chance and to sort of do these over to version 2. Solo says, just went to check out that Mondo Lino. That Snarf is nightmare fuel. It's not for everybody. It's a very stylized version. Thanos says, I've kind of already got most of the Thundercats I would have picked up. I think these are cool for people that may have missed them. Deluxe branding doesn't make sense to me with less accessories. Excuse me. I don't disagree at all, Thanos. I'm kind of being a little bit facetious when I say like maybe they'll do a basic line for $25. To me, this is the basic line. Um, I think they're differentiating the ultimates from the deluxe, but it feels like the ultimates is the deluxe figure and this is the basic figure. It's just it's it's kind of like when you there's three sizes available, but they're like medium, large, and extra large. That's what it feels like. It feels like, oh, we just took small out of the equation. Like we're not talking about basic. We're talking about deluxe and ultimates, and it just feels like it's clever marketing to me because it's kind of like one of those funny things where um, I don't think they're ever going to do a basic line, let alone call it basic. So to me, the deluxe line is the basic line. It does feel a little bit of like a it does feel like a bit of a misnomer to get like the most minimal amount of accessories that you possibly can and call it deluxe. But hey, I'm not I want to buy them, so I don't really care what they call them. Um this is a great segue into the last thing that I want to talk about today. It's gonna be a short episode. I always try to have short episodes, but I was a little more organized this time, so I can actually have a shorter episode. Um Star says, I think that AWOC has dethroned Thundercats for me as my favorite animal people. AWOC is hitting all the right buttons for animal human characters where Thundercats fell short. AWOC is killing it. AWOC is killing it. And at Joe Lanta, there will be another reveal. So Joe Lanta goes September 27th to the 29th in Duluth, Georgia, which is close enough to Atlanta that they can call it Joe Lanta. I don't know where Duluth is. I've never been there. The Toy Lanta was in Peachtree Corners, which is just the other side of Atlanta from the airport. So I don't know exactly where this one is. It won't be in the same venue that Toylanta was, presumably, because it's got a different address. But there will be a figure revealed at Toylanta. I have seen this figure, and I'm actually really, really excited about this figure. I can't tell you what it is. What I will be able to tell you is that this is going to be like it's going to be like a con exclusive figure. So this is not going to be a character that will be in the lore. This is not a character that if you don't have it in your collection, you'll be missing out. This will be a collection more in line with something like Tanger, where Tanger was the ape figure. It was a repaint of a figure that worked for PowerCon. PowerCon is a Masters of the Universe, or sort of was considered a Masters of the Universe convention. Tanger is pretty obviously, I think, a Beastman homage. So this reveal will sort of be in that vein. Red 5. It will be the Brawler Buck. It is the Brawler Buck. Looks beefy up top. That might be armor. No, it is a Brawler Buck. This will be revealed, as I said, on Friday. So stay tuned for news out of Joe Lanta. All will be revealed on Friday at Joe Lanta. And then sort of news about how and where and when you can get this figure should be available. Once it gets revealed. So, yeah, but I'm excited. I think it's. I don't know. I don't know what the reaction is going to be to it. I think people are really going to like it, but it's impossible to know until it comes out, and then, but then we'll see. So. But yeah, stay tuned to Joe Lanta Toy Show news. I would strongly recommend, follow them on Instagram. Just go on Instagram. Just look up Joe Lanta. I'm sure it'll get posted all over there once it's up. So, um, so stay tuned for that. As I said, Friday the 27th will be when more news drops about that reveal. The Star says, "I'd like to see an Alfred Hitchcock tribute." You should do one. That's the go for it. I mean, that's the fun of toys. You can do whatever you want with them. I'd like to see that too, actually. Now that I think of it. But how would I'm just trying to think. I that's the first I'd ever thought of that. So I don't know what I would sort of hope to see as an Alfred Hitchcock tribute, but that could work. All right, we are right at an hour, which is what I always shoot for. I love that. Short and sweet. Hopefully, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Brick will be on in about 40 minutes, I think, 3:45. So what, 37 minutes? 37 minutes from now, Brick will be on. He has got David Igo from Monsters on today. So if you want to hear more about Monsters, head over to Brick's channel very, very shortly after this and go check that out. Because I think I think that stuff looks pretty cool. And you can't help but get excited when you hear David talk about it, because he's like so fired up about it. And he sort of sells the mashups better, and he just sells it all better than anybody else possibly could. So definitely go over and check that out. Scott Baker says David is fun. He is. Like, that's I would say that David is capital FUN fun too. Like, he is just great positive energy, just like endless amount of energy too. So he'll probably be going crazy for however long Brick lets him over on Brick's channel. So yeah, definitely go check that out. It's been an absolute pleasure, guys. It's always fun to talk about toys with you guys, and this was a heavy news week. I've been so busy that I've sort of been out of the loop. I have not been keeping up on toy news as well as I would have liked, but there was some that I really, really was excited to talk about. So hopefully you guys were excited about some of this stuff too. Yeah, anyways, I will be back next week talking about more toys. Don't know what I'll be talking about, but it should be fun. Till next time, bye-bye.